So leadership can be the most important ingredient for a for a business to work. It is crucial to keep others inspired and focus on their common goals. And while many might believe that leaders are born with their skills, everyone can become a leader. But the question is, what makes a good leader and what makes a bad one? In this webinar, we'll be giving you the answer to that question and a lot more. But before we do that, let me get started by introducing the other members of the webinar. So we have Yousra Majid, who is the leader of company that is here with us to explain her struggles and her complications in her work. We have Fatima-Zahra that will talk about the negative impact of leadership in the workplace. And finally, we have Hamza and Mohammaed sabaaoui that will be talking about the problems of leadership and what is good leadership. So let's get started with Yousra Majid.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Yousra Majid. I'm the owner of VN company. I was working for almost 10 years and I wanted to address my problematic. I think that I do everything for the company to succeed, but I still don't get profit. I pay my employees very well and I try to give them all the instructions, but I still don't make it. I want you to clarify things to me. The employees doesn't really respect me. They leave the company early and they come behind. They lost all the respect towards me, and I don't really blame them because who respects a company that doesn't make a profit as well as the owner? I try to clarify all the tasks and give them all the information they need. We make events, but we don't make money. Since the company, we make events, but we don't make money. Since the company doesn't make profits, I lost a lot of good employees because they are not happy with the company, even though I try to not take the salary. Even if the company doesn't make that much and that influenced badly the company. Even more, I try to bring a tutor so that he sees the situation and try to help me and help the employees. But that did it wrong. I also tried to talk to them to tell them that everything will go okay, so we should all work together to move on from the situation, but it was all wrong. So I have a deficit in my employees and the profits. I'm waiting for you to see things from your perspective and try to help the company because it is going the wrong way, and I will lose it sooner or later.
Uh, so now let's move on to Fatima-Zahra that will be talking about the negative impact of leadership.
Yeah, Yousra, hello everyone. My name is Fatima-Zahra and I am going to try to clarify to Miss Yousra how lack of leadership could negatively impact her company. So, first of all, I believe that a lack of leadership could be easily problematic in a workplace as it creates different problems and negative consequences on it. In fact, Miss Yusra, I would probably start by saying that as a leader, or if in your company you have managers that miss and do not have the ability of giving directions to their teams, and that in their own personalities lack the ability of having a vision, or having this tunnel vision when they do not let others explain and give their opinions. This will eventually lead directly to a failure. In fact, there was there is this website Cron that says that not providing a clear and direct expectations keep the workers away from understanding the real purpose of their jobs and their missions. Therefore, if managers lack of giving inspiration and motivation and um, trying to create a sustainable value by providing and encouraging and an encouraging atmosphere and coordinating tasks between this department and that other department, this will directly lead to a lack of collaboration from your workers. And this take us to the second point that is created by the lack of leadership, that is a low morale. In fact, for example, when an organization or a leader fails and refuses to invest in his or her employees, and when he doesn't motivate them, and for example, prefer an employee over the other for some reasons, this will directly and for example he doesn't let them prove their abilities and their skills through rational administration, and um, it will create a discouragement that will directly lead to a fall and a downgrade in their engagement level, and therefore a low morale and a very toxic and negative workplace environment will be created. This in its turn will lead to other potential problems and consequences, such as lack of discipline, since you mentioned that your workers and your employees doesn't respect you anymore, and a lower productivity. They will not be as involved as they were. They will not do their work at 100%. Um, and there was this. Let me tell you about the Arizona Department of Public Safety, conducted who conducted a study in 2011, as they found that out of the people who say that they are working in a very low moral environment, 67% of them um, say that employees with low morale, and this low morale is always coming from their leader. They always blame it on the leader. However, only 17% accused outside factors. The third impact, and this is probably one of the most dangerous one, is the health of your workers and your employees. Um, as sometimes, and not sometimes, but a lot of the time, this whole problems that are created by the leadership would directly lead to health problems to you and your employees. The Center of Monetary and Financial Studies has conducted the study in 2011, and they found out that um, extra work and extra hours, stress in the workplace, not only increases the likelihood of alcohol consumption and smoking, but it also enhances the hypertension, obesity, since people find less and less time to go work out, and they are just tired when they go back home. So this could not only, in addition to obesity, it creates depression and sometimes cardiovascular illnesses. I would also like to add, last but not least, that a lack of leadership could come with a mismanaging of the resources. You mentioned that you do not make profits, that you still cannot know why your company doesn't make it. So a lack of leadership um, could easily be misreporting records and mismanaging your human resources. You don't know how many employees you need in this department and that department, or if you are unorganized and you don't know how to report your incomes and expenses, and your managers fail in knowing how to do that, this can definitely lead to financial and managerial problems in your organization.
Thank you very much, Fatima-Zahra. And I would like to briefly apologize about that noise. It seems that your friend is not so calm after all. But enough of that, and moving on to Hamza and Moubarik, they will be talking about the problems of leadership.
So good afternoon, everyone. As I heard you just said, there is a lot of problem between her and her workers. So I found out that the first problem that I would give problem of what is this, and after it the solution is the poor communication that affects her leadership confidence. I found out that Yusra is born to be a leader. When you have a large company with a lot of workers, like you could be a leader like in minutes, but you can't control being a leader for a long time. So just poor communication that affect the inability to hold a meaningful conversation between Yusra and her workers can affect her with the long term. Like when the lack of communication between her and her workers or her assistants. So lack of communication between in the term of the organization itself can give her a lot of trouble in this problem of lack of leadership. And the solution is leaders are responsible to bring others together to gather information about the things their team are facing, the problems are facing. So communication could easy bring this problem in could easy face this problem. And if you have a problem, you could face it just about in term of hours. Just if you say that I have a problem and you are meaningful to get help. So and after it, so you don't need to have all answers, because as a group or an organization with a good leader, so you everyone is consistent of everyone else, you get help from others and stuff. So uh, so a good lead so the solution for this first problem of poor communication is just having a large like having a criteria that communication will be from the first criteria in this organization. So just communication itself will be not a lack of uh, will be a solution of this lack of leadership. And for the second problem, I found out that this second problem is disorganized talent development affect leadership. You have a talent of leadership, but you cannot consist people that you are the leader. So they see you as the manager, they see you as the boss, but not the leader that will help them across uh, across the way, to help them with their problems. So they just see you as the boss, not the one that will get to them if they need help, and or just something urgent. They scare you, if I could say it in other words. They're scared of you, so they don't see you as their friend or as their mentor. So they just see you as your boss. So this talent of developing yourself as a leader will be just as I said earlier, from the communication, and now from being just their friend and stuff. And for the third problem that I found is the poor relationship building skills. Like there's in your organization, you don't do a lot of event to gather people, of just games, team building games. As I studied that the team building games is a way to break the barriers between the boss or the leader and their workers. So they see you as a friend, they see you as your mentor, and they see you as equal. So even if you are the leader of them, they see you as equal. So if there is a problem, they go back to you and don't be afraid of it. And the poor relationship in this problem, the poor relationship building skills is a problem that it will affect you more than them, because you are, as you said, that's wasting money and wasting resources. But if you get this solution that makes sure your integrity is intact, so you trust that you will not follow you or give 100% for things that's important to you. And for the last problem that may be like a solution more than a problem is that developing greater leadership confidence is a continuous process. As I said, that you can't make yourself a leader uh, for like just 2 days or 3 days, but it's a continuous process that you need to get more information about it and more practices, uh, more more information and more practices, and just as your worker will know that you are a leader, as an equal, a friend, and a helper for to reach your skills as a leader and characteristic needed to develop this. So it will be a continuous process to be to be a great leader, actually demonstrating leadership in your company. And this area, and for this, you should be a great leadership and focus on many areas as communication, as helping others. And for this, it's about how well you can guide and move the rest of the organization in the direction you set. So, if you had been a good leader, you should just move the direction, any direction you want, and the organization will follow. So, do not let a lack of leadership block you from being a good leader. And thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Hamza. Now let's move on to Mohammed with what is good leadership.
Okay, so hello everyone. Now I would like to talk about the characteristics that characterize a good leadership. A good leader is someone who will develop its skills as a first thing. And for Miss Yusra, I would like to generalize and talk to her in a general way, and then she will understand the things that can be done in her company. So there are different characteristics of great leaders, and the first of these is being flexible. Being flexible is when you know that not everything needs to be done as it should be, because not everything that we dream about is done as it's planned for. It's always there are things that change and that affects the dreams in a way or else. There are lots of invisible heads that change things from time to time, especially in the workplace. For example, there are governments that make new regulations. There are competitors that make new creating tactics, and there are a lot of occasionally, for example, disaster, natural disaster, or something that can happen. And a good leader has to be in like we can say in always uh, in a always existing way to deal with the problem, no matter what kind of the problem is. And the second characteristic I would like to talk about is being a good leader is like being in a good way to communicate. Like everyone could communicate, but a good leader has to have a specific way of communication with others, has to have a different way that will affect its company and and their company and their employees. It is true that there are people and especially leaders that create good speeches, have great speaking skills, and speak very well. But speaking very well isn't the only thing. It's needed to be for a long time and not only for a speech and then it's over. And as we all know, there are lots of people who talk a great game but deliver nothing. A leader who communicates well and the one is the one who is not only share his or her thoughts with with their employees, but much more also is their personal character should be shared. Their strengths should be given to their employees and shared with them. And the third characteristic I would like to mention here is being as a courageous person and having the passions for all time, because the courage to stand alone is a very important thing here, because not always people that are your employees will be with you, because you are the leader. You will face problems more than them, and you have to follow your dream until the end. They are still your employees, and you are the leader. You have to stand alone, no matter what how hard the situation is. And the tenacity to not yield the pressure, like you have to overcome the pressure from time to time. We all feel that we have pressure in our lives. We all feel that we will going to give up, but a leader has to be much more powered, much more stronger than everyone, than anyone else, and the passions to keep fighting no matter how hard the situation. It is something that a leader has to develop from the first day of being a leader until the last day when he will win or lose. The fourth characteristic here that I would like to talk about is doing a good combination between humility and the presence, because a good leader has to be not as, I can say, a boof or aloof. It's like two words that can't be separated, and but also, but in contrast, it has to be like with their employees like a friend and not like a boss. It has to be things should be going in parallel, and not only being the leader so you have to give the orders. No, it's not, it's never like that. You have to be their friend. You have to share things, even if your personal life, you can share it sometimes if you feel that the person will get closer to you. And the other thing that I want to say is being respectful for your employees, no matter their levels on the company. You should respect them. If they are less than you or less than others, you, if you give awards to this one, you have to give it to the other one. You have to be equal and fair in a way or else. And the other thing I would like to talk about is the last but not least thing is um, being responsible. I let it until the end because it has much more importance than anything else. For example, in a case where there is a blame for something that or a loss in the company, and employees are always the ones that we feel that are responsible, but instead the leader should be the first one who is responsible and should be the first one who accepts this blame and this loss with a positive way that can be changed and that can be developed to a greater way in the next step that will be done in the company. And so for me, and in general, and for Miss Yusra, I would like to advise her by saying that effective leadership is important for the well-being of the workplace. In fact, a successful leader is able to increase the effectiveness and enhance the performance for the company, and that's by supervising the tasks of all the employees. This said, giving them the directions they need to follow, doing the right things in an effective and efficient way, and giving time conserving to everyone in the company, and a big value to each one, no matter what level is he or she is working on. A manager is always known for the developed skills and the precision that will give him or her a value. So a manager would guide his or her employee and show them the easiest to process to get the job and the dream done. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mohammed. So, in conclusion, we can see that credibility, respect, and fairness go a long way in the workplace for a leader. And as we've seen with with the experience of the leader with us today, that paying employees and providing good work condition, while they might motivate employees, it's not enough to cover for for a bad leadership. So now, what's important to retain from this webinar is what makes a good leadership. And what makes a good leadership is the communication skills, first of all, but more importantly, the soft skills that go with it, including being responsible and uh, being there as a figure of help, not as a figure of supervision, so that employees have this trustworthiness toward a leader and open up whenever there is an issue. And I would like to thank our viewers that are watching us right now, and thank the other members of the And we hope that this session have enlightened you as much as it enlightened us. And thank you very much for watching us.
Thank you.
Thank you.